enterprises, organizations, and especially the startups we see now exploring mobile as a platform to do business. And thereby, as we see the digital economy shaping the Indian economy, we have changed its name as digital servicization.
I think I'm not going to talk anything on regulatory, because already there's a lot of talk whether we should regulate or enable these services. It's not going to be on a regulatory framework. I'm not going to talk on that. Just give the other side of, so far we heard about what are the different apps available, where is the world moving towards. But how are we going to create such digital services, especially can we have more done within our country? That's what I thought I'll quickly touch a bit more, where India is positioned today in the world. And we have done some development in the world forums, in ITU and APGs. We are even successful to create a forums where we can set up regional application service platforms in regional wise. These are some of the things which we can think of going forward. I think this, many of our speakers are already in touch, but a quick recap. You know that more than a quarter of the world population is already in the smartphone, because the smartphone is going to be the driving force for all the digital services. But who are these new users, especially in our country? We can say that 48% of these digital services we are talking about, the people who are on the digital, most of the cellular devices are all less than 25 years. The 18 to 24% forms the 24%, they are the 48%. And what are these people doing? And if you can see the average monthly plan of these bills, these smartphones are now touching an ARPU of around 500 rupees. In comparison to what is happening to other mobiles, around 300 bucks. And most of them are having a data plan. 50 to 57% of the customers today are having one or more data plans. And what are they actually doing? This is a screenshot of what is the daily distribution of the screen minutes. What is happening in a country, you can see India down there. Around 162 minutes they are viewing on your smartphones, which is even more than what they see on the normal TV. So that's what's the word moving in our own country. We can see that only 62 minutes is, 96 minutes is around in TV, and compared to 162 is happening in your smartphones. And how is this internet affected? You know that the use of this mobile data has gone tremendously high because of the uptake of these smartphones and the tablets. So many popular applications have come, and more than 50% of the mobile users in the world are already using one or more of these digital services. And by the end of this year, we are going to reach around 4 billion number of internet users globally. And of course, in our country, the backbone is still under development, and plans like the National Optical Fiber Network, which has been planned in the country, will expand its geographical coverage, and it will have more increase to the access, which will actually fuel the internet penetration in the country. Just a small statistics, worldwide we see that it's roughly around 1.4 billion, and 3.4 billion is in the internet users, so roughly around 2.3 are the social active users. And of course there is something called unique mobile users. Maybe a person could use one or more mobiles. So unique is roughly around 3.7. This is the world global figures. The equivalent Indian figures, we can see that for a population of 1.3, already we have roughly around 136 million who are active on your social network, which is active internet users are actually touching 400 million. The growth is phenomenal, around 20% growth in the active users. Social media is also exploding, 15%. Growth of subscriptions is also growing, and the number of active mobile users who are using the social is also growing. And that's an internet growth, but definitely a bit slower. The pace is slightly slower, but still we are growing. Internet, of course, we see the real broadband speed The number of users who are actually getting a minimum of 512 is only around 200 million. But the people who are having access to these internet services may be around 375 to 400 million. But still there's still a way out. Only 28% of the population is still connected. And of course, a lot of things are happening. The 4G is coming. We have already started talking about 5G. The rollouts will start maybe in 2018, 2019. But this LTE infrastructure is going to really again give a big boost to this mobile market, data market. The public safety, especially the area of the public safety, LTE infrastructure is going to grow in a big way. And it is estimated by 2020 we will have roughly around 150,000 of such node bees installed all across the country. So you'll have a more or less a seamless internet connectivity available. Some of the snapshots. The app industry, which is also a very big industry that's globally that's happening. Majority is the happening the app is happening in our country. The Indian app industry is roughly 10 million downloads, and we can see that in 2016 the revenue from the paid apps is estimated to reach around 15 billion, which is roughly which was roughly 9 billion in 2014. And the Indian app market is likely to carry an enormous opportunity, not only for both the local as well as the regional apps are going to grow up. The Indian's app economy is already growing multifold. The country is already having roughly around 3 lakh developer community that is expanding drastically. And by 2017, we will be one of the largest app developer in the world. And of course, there need to be a traction that's going to happen. That's going to be happening in the 3G adoption and the 4G completely accelerated and full go. Of course, with 4G, the mobile application development will again turn a new leaf, because now we'll have an unlimited bandwidth capability available, and that's going to be an unprecedented development that's happening in the sector. So if you see in 2013, roughly an average Indian smartphone downloaded 17 apps, out of which 4 were paid apps. Today it is slightly improved out, but still today we see that only, even if you're downloading 20 apps, only 6 apps are paid apps. But still there is a gap. So globally, whereas we see the global average, out of 26 apps everyone downloads, 5 are being paid. So the smartphone penetration is also slowly growing up, and India is now becoming the top 3 countries where the app downloads is happening. And most interestingly, 80% of all the apps are all somewhere connected to India. Whatever apps you see in the app stores, 80% of these apps are somewhere connected to India, either developed in India or developed by an Indian. A quick look, with all this happening, I need to give a small snapshot of what is happening to the other side. The ARPU, a small ARPU comparison of what is happening in Google, Facebook and Twitter. This is a snapshot of you can see the amount of revenue that is being generated by these 3 people. So can we not make some of these come back to the country? That's one of the thought between, because when the VAS industry was growing at a much larger phase, probably 5 years earlier, we were leaders in many of the VAS development that was happening. But today, slowly we are just losing the app platform itself to global platforms. Or can we bring a part of it back to the country? So that's one thing which we need to think. But are we ready for that? Yeah, we are ready, because we see the key performance in drivers that is happening in the country. More than 13% of smartphones, and there are various ways how we grade what is the available infrastructure on our country. Today our network infrastructure is equally good, it's not so bad. It's on a scale of 2.98. And the cost is also coming down. SMS, voice, data, etc. SMS is now hovering around 0.5 to 1 rupee. And there's a lot of carrier fragmentation is happening. So, which means the mobile players can even have the carrier aggregated together to have more throughputs to them. And that is inversely proportional to the ISSI. Today it's 68%. And the smartphone penetration, as I already mentioned, between the ages of 13 to 24 versus 25 to 60, we can see that 39 to 29%. So these are all indicators that the app industry is still can grow very fast. And of course, there is a lot of fragmentation that is happening in the OS platform of the smartphones itself. And the concentration of the digital services today is only 0.21. That's if you take the standard deviation of market share that is available. So the market, whereas we see the market penetration of these digital services are already 63%. So we are the right kind of key drivers that is already in place. We need to put in place a system that brings in more revenue into the country. This is a snapshot. Always there's a competition between the telecom service providers and the various digital services. Today we can see that the pink one, the darker one, shows how leaner and leaner the TSPs have gone. They are more into a pipe. So they are more into communications, giving you the basic communication of voice, SMS and data, and there are all other trends like travel, leisure, entertainment, advertising, commerce, utilities are all moved out of the pipes. So it is slowly moving to what we call a dump pipe, and all the services are running over it. And this is actually helping us to create a real digital services environment. So one positive follow to the success of the mobile communication is the rapid growth in the development of these digital services. They were either continuously streamed or one-off to deliver information and perform as any particular specific functions. Actually, initially started more on gaming, social networking, navigation, utilities, now slowly entering into the health, education, agriculture, etc. That is actually revolutionizing the way how we are using these phones. As I just mentioned, the app downloads are increasing, your revenue from this app are increasing. Most interestingly, the competition that is triggered by technological advancement, earlier it is more on a telco center thing, is slowly moved into what we call a Wi-Fi or a data centered creation of these apps. So the market has just reached the point of what we call the inflection point for app revolution. So the app revolution has just started. Unless we can capitalize on it, we can make. It's going to be a huge market where the digital services are going to really revolutionize not only the country, the globe. And the model is of having a single platform to disseminate and facilitate such payment of apps is also becoming successful. And no doubt India is a source of these enormous demand of apps. All set of apps are all being used. As I told, 80% of the apps are all developed and consumed. 63% are consumed in the country only. Though only the smartphone penetration is only 20%. But you can imagine that if it starts increasing, there's going to be more opportunities. And with even this 20%, we see that the top 5 regions in the Google Play is again our country. India is significantly contributing to the app development. As I mentioned above, from the 60%, 10% of the apps that are developed by Indians. It's the world's second largest app developer. In 2010, of course, there are a lot of talks. Today, the prominent app store, if you see, if it be Google or an iOS store or X, Y, Z. But can we replicate it? That's what a few of the TSPs tried to do it. In 2010, Airtel brought out something called the Airtel App Center Online Center. But due to some obvious reasons, it did not take up. The government has now made a big initiative, and they have started a platform on the mobile Seva App Store. That's going to be the cornerstone for future developments that really open up in a number of ways. And again, affordability of this mobile data, because today we are one of the cheapest tariffs that is available in the country, that is going to also help in the development and usage of the network. And other key things is, we are the largest presence of skilled pool of young software developers. We have the high growth rate for the smartphones, and the Indian app economy has reached a point of inflection. So the next breakthrough in innovation of apps is going to be in India. Today, roughly we have the Google Play hosting around 1.3 billion apps. App Store is having 1.2 billion. Are we going to plan to have something shifted down to some India-centric app store? Should be the thought process probably for the day, to take around how the digital services could run forward. Of course, we have started with another appealing example of the app distribution in the App Store. MyGov is one of the India's initiating this trend, a massive one. It's having a loud, you can see millions of people directly communicating with their thoughts to the government. International app stores is continuing to still dominate today the distribution of these apps in the country. the local app distribution platforms must attain a critical scale. Then only this invention can happen among these app developers. Of course, as we mentioned, this mobile app store is going to be in a big way, because even the UN has awarded, I think there was a UN Public Service Award for this mobile server store. So which all shows the path is already there. We need to channel in some more of the development so that the store becomes good and becomes more of an India-centric. As some of the speakers was mentioning, that there are a lot of concerns about the servers being outside the country. So some of the the so-called security threats could be largely addressed by such innovative action that could happen in the Indian environment. Incidentally, on the security aspect, from the trial, we had already come out with a paper, a consultation paper on cloud computing, where we invited comments from the stakeholders to see how effectively we can have this cloud computing. Should the servers be moved into the country? All of these crucial topics have been discussed in these papers. We will invite your comments. It's still open. That will help us to more see if any regulatory intervention is required. And as we already mentioned, the apps to now start focusing towards agriculture, health and education, because they are not scaled adequately till, because the ecosystem itself is still under development. Of course, all this requires better network infrastructure, increasing the number of devices that will adopt these digital services. So content and service providers both are delivering compelling content that could drive useful information to adopt these digital services. Of course, the social media like chat, video are still the key content categories today that is maximizing the user time on the mobiles today. So that's going to be a paradigm shift in the content consumption pattern from what we call the on-tech to off-tech content, with increasing use of the users using the smartphones. And of course, another very crucial, important factor is the availability of these apps and in the vernacular languages. The regional, regional centric issues being addressed. So that's one of the areas which also the app, the digital services should thinking about. Of course, off-tech is gaining popularity, so a lot of innovative models are already coming. But we need to do a lot of investment in M services, because these services are growing and these services are standing to promise to create a social impact in the areas of healthcare, agriculture, financing, governance, education. But today the existing M services are only SMS and IVRS based, there are limited interactive services which needs, because unless you have a smartphone, you are going to have your connectivity needs to go on their SMS IVRS channel. So MS, the mobile services represent a robust use case for these mobile. So increasing adoption of these services is going to be a favorable future for internet adoption. There are a lot of key benefits that this mobile internet could bring to the table. They can improve your delivery efficiency, and many of the low-cost solutions that could have a positive and a positive social impact. A mature ecosystem is a big hurdle for growth and penetration of this, because as I told you, the ecosystem is again developing. And we are again staring at a new paradigm of digital consumerism. The clock is ticking. The people of India are excited to get on into the digital bandwagon. They are already connected, they are informed, but still they are not got enough. How are we going to get that going? The industry is now offering a chance. There is challenges on profitable growth that is happening. So this is where the government, the regulatory framework, the logistic service providers, the processing gateways, all supporting parties should come down together and try to dodge and change these challenges. So that's where sessions, what is happening today will help in sharing of experiences and trying to evolve. I would suggest such that at the end of the session we should have some sort of a policy document that this is going to be the roadmap. What are going to be the contribution of by different stakeholders? And then we should have a clear roadmap ahead. And of course the government is doing its bit also to, in terms of this GSTs, where we are trying to make a goods and service tax which is common across the country. These are all help as an enabler to the industry as such. And again, as I just touched upon, as speakers mentioned on, we are also need to take care that the security concerns have been taken. Today we have a lot of issues on data misuse, loss of your data control, security breaches, nuisances that are borne by this internet, and how there are even reasons of communication with records of suspicious persons. So all these are going to be addressed. So on one hand, when we see that app industry grows, various applications are coming in, we also need to take care that enough precautions are put in place that the security and privacy of an individual is also protected to a large extent. With all this, the other small aspect which is also growing is how the TSPs can also play their role. Though they are trying to be only more or less as a dumb pipe, just carrying the traffic that is happening, all the happening is happening in the application layer, but still there will be some services which will be more quality of service driven or maybe mission critical services, but still they may be running on application services. That's where technology plays its part. With the evaluation of LT, there are certain technology available like the PCRE. That's what we call the policy and charging, the rules of the game that is available, is an integrated part of the LT, which can help in service differentiation, that is over the digital services. When various digital services are offered, how can I differentiate the services with respect to quality of service, etc. All this could be easily adopted the technology, and operators can easily find a combination of this product, brand, marketing, pricing, so that they conquer the complete technical challenges to ensure a quality of assured quality services is given assured. So these are some of the policy features that could be implemented. Of course, the other aspect is what we call the layer segmentation. Among the LTEs also we can have this layered segmentation. As we know that there's the application layer and the control layer, and this is running on the application layer. We can add some of the enablers so which can drop into this application layer so they control very important things like quality of service, how do we give prioritize of the application that runs over the network which are mission critical. So all these are not happening. I'm sure that old Dave is going to deliberate on this, and I'm sure we'll have a good policy framework coming out. Thank you for your patience here, and that's all.
Hi, I'm Padmanabh.
I'm Sam.
My name is Tsuneo Murata.
My name is Yutong Huang.
And you are watching
You're watching
You're watching ELE Times TV.